Hi and welcome. Today I have a product review and I'm going to have a look at the OHUHU water-based markers. And I got this super big set last year and I have tried those markers already. At the moment I'm not sure how many these have been. It might be the 120 or the 160 set. We will see when I swatch the markers in the video. It's been a while that I did this recording, and in the meantime I have used these markers mainly in my sketchbook, but also to color in stamped images. And here you can see the swatch cards that come with the set. You also get some replacements for the nibs of the markers. And you can see you get tons and tons of markers. A lot of them have similar colors. So in case you run out of one, you will have another to replace the color, I would say. The only thing that I don't like is that there are not so many light colors, and this is what I like to have for the sketchbook. I need a lot of light colors to start a sketch, and then I go in with darker ones. If you're using these markers with water, like a watercolor marker, then it's not that important because you can make it lighter with a water brush, and we will test how good they work with water at the end of the video. I really like their brush tip, and I like that they come with replacements in case you ruin something. I have to say I'm not a hand letterer, so I don't write with these markers. I am sketching with them, and I really enjoyed using them. They don't bleed through my paper. I like the lighter colors mainly, not all these darker ones or the bright ones, because I don't use them that much. But that's something that depends on your taste, I would say. I think I don't have any here that was dried out or so. Every marker goes well, and you can see in the swatches how the colors are looking, and 1, 2, 3, the reds are pretty similar. So if you get such a big set, you have you get also the lightest colors they have, I would say, and you get a lot of the other colors. So if you run out of one, you can exchange it with one of the others, or you can just split it and give some of the markers to your kids. I would say I reviewed the I don't know the name at the moment. I reviewed similar markers from another brand which look like they are exactly the same last year, and I would say they are the same. They have the same numbers, the same color, just the brand is different, but they were more expensive than the OHUHU. I think they were called SZCM or something like that. And if you look at the OHUHU markers, they are not as expensive as the others, but I would say they are the same marker. I also will compare them to the Tombow markers at the end of the video in my sketchbook. So on the paper that I usually use with these kind of markers. And I can already tell you there is not much of a difference. The difference is with Tombows you get a bigger marker, so there is more ink in it. It will not run out as fast as the OHUHU markers. I can tell you something about the tips compared to the Tombow markers, as I don't use them in a very strong way, so my tips don't get damaged. Regarding light fastness, the Tombos aren't light fast, and so the OHUHUs are for sure not light fast. That's the thing with markers. They are usually not light fast. If you want to have a light fast marker, you have to invest in high quality artist grade markers. I don't know what to say. If you like coloring books, if you like sketching with markers, if you want to use these markers to color in stamped images, I would definitely recommend getting them. You can also start with a smaller set to just try them out, but if I would just use them for stamps or for coloring books, I would never buy an expensive Tombow marker. I would always go for these cheaper markers, I think. I regularly use them, and what I also did is I refilled one of these markers. You can get that plastic tip on the brush end out of your marker, and I did that with one of the greens that ran out because I use a lot of green, and then I refilled the marker with Ecoline ink. So the Ecoline brush pens are also watercolor markers, and you can buy the refill ink for them. And I have some of them, and I have some of the ink to refill them. And I refilled one of these OHUHU markers, and that worked brilliant. And I'm really happy about that, because now when I have a marker running out, or I want to have a lighter color in a marker, I just can use it as soon as it's empty. I can refill it with my own mixture of ink, and that's fabulous. So I have a ton of markers to refill now. And what I also like, they are not that big and they are really lightweight. So I often take markers with me when I go out sketching or on holidays. And then it's great because they are not that heavy and not that big. And they will fit in a pencil roll because they are not thick. And here you can see that seems I got the set with hundreds. I think there are bigger sets, and I got from this other brand with, I would say, the same markers. I got a bigger set, and I believe usually the higher numbers have the lighter colors. So if you need lighter colors, you might have to invest in one of the biggest sets. But have a look at the OHUHU markers. They are cheaper than the others. Definitely check the description box because I will give you a discount code if I get one from OHUHU, and I will also give you the links to the markers. The markers are not sold open stock, so you can replace a special marker of them. That might be kind of a disadvantage, but I like that you can refill them, as I told you already. So it's not that kind of a problem. You may invest in some refill inks and then refill the markers. And as I painted one with one marker until it was empty, I can tell you that the nib was still super okay, and I couldn't see any kind of damage. So yeah. I will now speed up the swatching process a little bit so you don't get bored, and then we will go to the coloring part and we will check how good they blend with water. To test out how they work with water, I've stamped some mushrooms from our textured mushroom stamps onto some watercolor paper, and I'm using the Canson XL watercolor paper. That's my favorite paper to use with stamping because it's not very textured and it's very heavyweight, so you can work great with watercolors on top. I'm using a water brush to just blend the color, and you can see it works really good. And here you can see you can even blend one marker with another marker. That also works really well. What I also like about having so many markers, I have a collection directly beneath my couch. So when I'm watching TV and I want to sketch something, I have them ready to go next to me and I don't have to grab them from my desk. So that's also a nice advantage of having a bunch of these markers. I almost forgot about to tell you about the other side of the double-sided marker. It's a standard fine liner. You can write with it, I think it's about 0.4 nib, but I don't know exactly because I never use these fine liner ends. But of course, for bullet journaling, this might be totally useful. So there is a fine liner on the other side of the marker. I really like how they work on this paper. They are perfect for coloring in stamped images, and I would totally recommend getting a set of those if you don't have any and want to have some watercolor markers. I wouldn't invest in expensive markers if I just use these. Here, for example, I've used the OHUHU markers to sketch these cats. I would not invest in an expensive marker if I would just use them for coloring in stamped images. I personally like the Ecolines because of the possibility to refill them, but as I told you, you can refill these OHUHU markers, and that's gorgeous. And here I try them in my regular sketchbook. This is not watercolor paper, this is just sketching paper, and there they create a nice texture when you blend them with water. It's a technique I don't often use because then I always have to wait for the markers to dry, and otherwise they dry a lot quicker. I just want to compare them with the Tombos. And this is a Tombow marker. It's kind of a different green, and it works almost in exactly the same way, so it does not dissolve better than the OHUHU marker does. Yes, I hope this was a helpful review, and maybe you now can make a decision which markers you want to get. Don't forget to check all the links and a discount code in the video description. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!